what's up? My name is Tony and I am a filmmaker photographer in the St. Louis area, but today we are in St. Charles, kind of the historic district, and I decided that I would make a cinematic video for you of the R6. I haven't done a ton of sample footage yet of me really dialing in some cinematic footage, so I figured I would do that. Now, I have done this before with some of my other cameras, the 5D Mark IV, which has like 30,000 views. I've also done it with the EOS R, the one we're shooting on right now, but the difference between this one and those videos is I am going to actually upload the raw footage so that you can see how it works in your computer. And I know we've had some conversations about how it kind of struggles with the high bitrate files and all of that stuff. So what I would like to do is just share that with you. The only thing that I ask is if you end up using it, just don't claim it as your own. Make sure to give me some credit. Just tag me in your Instagram description or whatever you want to do that way. But otherwise, you can do what you want with it to see how it works in your computer. So let's get into the setup that I'll be using. Alright, so here is the setup. We've got the EOS R6 on a Ronin S, and this is kind of my setup that I do for most of my cinematic vlogs. We've got the 35mm f1.8 IS with a variable ND filter, and what I'm doing is I'm using a 67mm within a step down. So then we also have the video micro. As far as settings, we will shoot in 4K 60 frames per second, 10-bit 422 C-Log, all of that stuff, so you can see how it works. I may shoot in some 24 frames per second so you can see that as well, and I will note when that footage is being used. Otherwise, as far as white balance, we've got this really pretty light right now, so I'll probably shoot in something like a shady white balance, and then other than that, I can't really think of any other settings. Oh, for autofocus, I will use just regular old face tracking and just let it decide what to focus on. All right, let's give it a shot. Okay, well, we just finished up filming a bunch of really random B-roll. Sorry for the randomness. I was trying to kind of respect people because I was on a 35. It was hard to get any kind of like people shots in there without being uncomfortably close. And honestly, I just didn't have a storyline when I was going through this. But you get the point and kind of can see the quality of B-roll that you can get with this Canon R6. It color grades beautifully. It captures beautifully. I love the 4K, and honestly, I'm digging the file sizes. So hopefully this all works really well in your computer, and this will give you a chance to kind of play around with some of the footage. Just before we go, a few different tips on cinematic B-roll. One thing is you want to try and keep it as smooth as possible. That's why I was using the Ronin S today. But then also you want to think through your storyline, and you kind of want to take your viewer on a journey from point A to point B, and all of the pieces that need to be in that cinematic sequence to take them on that journey. That's kind of what I'm thinking through when I'm doing my real cinematic B-roll. So make it smooth. And then another thing is you want to make sure that your motion is going the same way. So if you're moving to the left, you want to continue that next shot with moving to the left. And then the third shot, maybe that's a stationary or it's moving forward or backwards. Then you can switch directions. But when you're constantly switching back and forth, you get a little confused. Other than that, experience is the best thing you can do to make better cinematic B-roll. Let me know if you've got any questions, and feel free to leave a comment of what you thought of the cinematic footage from this camera. Anything you didn't like, anything you really did like, let me know in the comments below. Like this video if it was helpful, and if you haven't already, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel. Thanks, guys. See you in the next one.